Hi, welcome to Real Life Talks, which is an interactive talk show where we chat about issues that are important to the community and our families. It's where we can learn from each other, support one another, and encourage others to build a strong, positive community together. I'm Nicole Binder, your host. I'm a Gen I, generation immigrant, born in this country to parents from a different birth country. My husband is white, and we have a 6-year-old whole wheat boy, which it means that he's a little white, brown from me, and a little white, that's from my hubby. I'm also a life coach, and I'm known as DearDIDI, which is a culturally sensitive advice column that I write to answer questions from the South Asian community and Gen Is. Let me introduce you to our lovely co-hosts. Rabia is a Pakistani Canadian, married with 3 children, and she is the creator of the Goodness Movement, which I'm a huge fan of. Rabia?
Thanks for having me, Kovinder. Super excited to be here. And thanks for mentioning the Goodness Movement. It's something that my family and I started 5 years ago, where we kind of set out to do random good deeds throughout the community, trying to set a positive image of what families can do to help the community. And I myself was born here, but have very strong ties to Pakistan and my heritage and my community. And so I spent a lot of my life trying to balance between the two. And now for the last 10 years, actually, have been working with Northrop Community House in settlement, helping other newcomers find that fine balance between being proud of where you come from, but also being proud of being Canadian. So thank you so much for having me. Super excited.
That's wonderful work that you're doing too, and much appreciated, I'm sure, from the community. And beside Rabia, we have Aisha. She is a Bengali Canadian, and she is pursuing a career in medicine, and she's a single lady.
Hi everyone, my name is Aisha, and I've mostly grown up in Canada. I've been here in North America since I was 9 years old. I attended university and then pursued some postgrad work outside of Canada, and now I'm just looking forward to moving on with my professional life. Yes.
Great. Well, thank you for being here, Aisha. We also have a lovely special guest here, Renu from Image Builders. Renu is a communication and media consultant, skilled in developing tactical PR strategies for diverse markets. I've known about Renu for a while now, and I'm always intrigued about what she's working on. Recently, she pitched a story about PFLAG, which was a wonderful story about the creation of an organization by a couple, the Agarwals, who threw a big Hindustani wedding for their son and his gay partner. It was very inspirational and encouraging for the community. I'm so pleased to have you here and spotlight you and your business as part of our DearDIDI Recommends. Thank you.
Thank you, Kulbinder, for having me. It's normally when I do PR, I pitch other people, but here I'm doing the interview. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're very pleased that you're here. So we'd love to you to share your perspective as well. So Renu, you are here so that we can get your experiences and your perspective on being able to provide advice to others. So welcome, okay? So now let's get right into it. I mentioned a few minutes ago the term Gen I. I made that up to describe myself, but I'm hardly alone, obviously, So what's a Gen I? It's about the delicate balancing act that Rabia was referring to about being Canadian and also being proud of your culture. I answer questions and address issues facing Gen Is. They are children of parents that were born elsewhere. For example, I was born in Canada to parents who immigrated from India. So their point of reference and experiences growing up would have been very different than mine. And so what about you, Rabia? What has been your experience with Gen Is?
Well, for me, it's been kind of a struggle, but also a fantastic journey at the same time. So, I mean, being born to immigrants, I think is no matter what time frame it happens, it's the same type of struggles that kind of continue. And for me, I started off kind of really close to the whole idea of it, and was very embarrassed when we'd show up and we'd speak Urdu in front of people, and I'd be like, oh my God, speak in English. So I started off kind of with that negative aspect of it, but it didn't take me very long at all to start to love and respect and understand the Pakistani culture.
And after that,
And that was, I mean, it was after I left middle school.
Okay.
I think when I was confident enough to not, I went to a school that was very kind of white. I was the only colored person there. Actually, there was two of us and we had to be best friends. Of course.
Yeah.
Right? But once I went into high school and it was like this eye-opening experience that people were really proud of what they were. And they were living it, loving it, and they looked great. And so from there, it was just this passion, and that was it. And from then, everything for me revolved around Pakistani culture, South Asian culture, really.
Yeah.
The language and everything. So for me, and now trying to get my kids to make sure that they're able to adapt and kind of experience both at the same time and love both Canadian culture and Pakistani culture together. So it's an ongoing struggle, but so far successful.
Wonderful. That's great. And Aisha, you?
To be honest, I think my close friends have once described me as being kind of confused about my cultural identity.
Really?
And I never thought about it that way. Because I never felt confused about my culture. I always felt that I am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And, I embrace whatever I like from different cultures. And, but, when people use a derogatory term like whitewashed, I suppose, and they're talking about girls like me. So, and I'm not even really sure what they mean by it, but I would like to reclaim it because perhaps they're right, because I'm not very traditional in many, many respects. So, I feel that I'm just a human being living on planet Earth, and there's cultures all around the Earth. And yes, my parents happen to be from halfway around the world, and I'm living here. So, I try to embrace the best of both worlds.
That's great.
Yes, as best as I can. Yeah.
And Renu?
Well, I came to Canada 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to school for 2 years. I did broadcast journalism. I was the oldest student in the class.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
And my the coordinator asked me, what would you like to do? Would you like to be in TV or print or radio? I said I want to be on TV, and he said, well, you're not going to be able to make it because they only take young blondes. He said. And I said, no, I'm going to prove you wrong. And
Good for you.
We were about
I love
100.
that.
We were 100 students, and I was the first one to get on air on CP24.
Right.
And I did traffic for 4 years.
Yeah.
And subsequently went to Omni and all that. So that was really good. But it was like these stereotypes. And I had 3 small children at that time.
Yeah.
But I think Canada has been very good. It embraces all kinds of cultures, and you meet all kinds of diverse people. So I think it's been a really good journey.
Yeah. And it is the stereotypes that I think that Gen Is really have to struggle against and be able to find their voice, So I've known you ladies for many years now, and we are all coming from different perspectives and viewpoints in our South Asian community. So no one is exactly alike, and there's not really only one answer to any one question. So I'd like to introduce our question for today and have all of you get your take on it, your experiences, your perspective, as well as the advice that you would give to this young person that is out writing in. So let's get started. The question today is, I recently married my long-term girlfriend. My wife is not of South Asian background, but that didn't seem to be an issue before we got married. But now they want to turn her into the conventional desi bahu. And every time we meet, there's conflict. My mother will start a conversation with amongst us and go on to describe in great detail how we do things. My wife was interested in learning how to make my favorite dishes, etc. from my mom before, but now she's digging in her heels and says she does not want to change into someone that she's not. I've tried to be talking to both of them, but I'm caught in the middle. So what do you ladies think? How would we advise this young man?
The man is always caught in the middle.
That is so true. Yes.
Perhaps we should do some consulting courses for the men first and foremost, right?
I think that's a great idea. Stay tuned,
But it's hard, it's hard. But I think it's very important for the two women to connect. And maybe if the daughter-in-law feels that her mother-in-law is not listening, perhaps she should sit her down and say, this is what is happening. And if she still doesn't listen, she should perhaps talk a little further. If not, then they have to come up with some counseling or having a third person interview. That's what I feel.
I mean, I feel that I know we're talking specifically about a non-South Asian woman at this point, but I think that those struggles happen even when you're South Asian.
Absolutely.
So I think, a lot of our Gen I that are getting married still, I mean, it's difficult sometimes to connect those old kind of values and stuff like that. I, as I mentioned, as you know me very well, but have a very, very good relationship with my mother-in-law and my sister-in-laws. And so for me, that struggle hasn't really been there. I've always, and it's not about changing when you go in. I think it's more about bringing your values and adding to that family. And that family then adopting to a lot of that stuff. And so you kind of take on some of the different roles and some of the different, like the great things that family has to offer, and then you also offer what you have, and together bringing all that stuff together, I think brings together like an amazing family unit. But just to add as well, I've got two sister-in-laws, both that are not married to South Asian men, and on the flip side, it hasn't been like that at all, where it's like you need to adapt our culture and you need to do what we wanted, you have to wear this, and it hasn't been like that. It's like, okay, this is your culture, let's adapt, let's see what cool, interesting things you guys do that we can bring into our home, whether it's food, whether it's music, whatever it may be, and let's teach you some of ours, and together let's grow into that big, strong family unit, which is Canada. A whole bunch of different cultures smashed together, right? So,
absolutely.
But it's the respect going both ways, and openness to actually allowing to change a little bit and adapt a little bit and give. So it's both ways, definitely.
And I think that you really hit on the growth aspect of it. Like this is a new milestone in everybody's life, right? Like first time that the mother has had a daughter-in-law, first time the daughter-in-law has had a mother-in-law, so this is something that's going to continue to change and evolve and grow. And I love your sort of perspective about, growing, like bringing what you have to offer to the relationship. And that's really the way that it was with my husband and I as well. Similar to your sister-in-laws, I think it's a little bit easier when it's the dude, right?
Of course.
And my husband's embraced the culture, loves the culture, the food and the language. I mean, he did actually a better job about teaching our son Punjabi than I did, when he was younger and stuff. So it really is about the respect, and not just respect of one another, but respect about the cultural norms that you're going to have to learn about and sort of navigate through to figure out what you want to adopt and what you don't.
And if you love your spouse,
you
should be able to, on both sides.
So the key is communication. The key is communication. If you communicate,
absolutely,
that breaks down a lot of barriers. Right?
And you, Aisha?
So the thoughts I have are that I spoke to some of my friends, and they said, when you first get married, it's just such a huge life adjustment. Although it seems that you two have been together for some time and you already love each other for quite some time, but just taking on this new identity as your wife, this is just a big adjustment in her life. So I would say give it some time, and that seems to be my common advice. But
which is very good advice.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Because your wife will still be your wife a year from now. So right now she's going through this period of adjustment where she's learning how to live together with you and embrace the common values you have together. And so perhaps what you can tell your mom is give her time. There's no need to rush into her learning these traditions or customs right now. And
I think that's not to say that you're not going to have like the monster-in-laws. Like there's always going to be the daughter-in-laws that are just impossible to deal with, and mother-in-laws that are impossible to deal with. And I think that's just characteristics that people have, and hopefully not a whole lot of that happening anymore.
And with that, it doesn't matter how much communication you do. It doesn't matter how much respect you have. Some
people just don't want to change, and then you have to stand your ground.
And when you live in a joint family, I think it's both sides that have to make the adjustment. So they are making the adjustment. There's a new girl come into the family, and so for the mother-in-laws it's hard. But you all have to be easygoing and a little bit of compromise goes a long way.
Compromise goes a long way. You're right. So, and if you're curious to see how I responded to this question, please go to our website, REALLIFEtalks.com, to check it out. And so we're getting to our our favorite segment, which is our DearDIDI Recommends. Each week we put a spotlight on women entrepreneurs. They help to inform and educate us and believe in giving back to the community. And you are definitely an example of that, Renu. So Renu's going to be sharing with us a little bit about her PR agency and how she puts a spotlight on small businesses and organizations. So Renu?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, we image builders, we do PR. I'm a journalist by profession who switched over to PR because it's easier for me to understand what the journalists are looking for when we make a pitch. So we try and help, for instance, the Speak Black you mentioned.
Right.
The other girls came to me and said that we don't have that much of a budget, but if you can help us get the word out. And I was very intrigued because this was the first Hindu wedding, large wedding of its kind in North America.
Had you heard about it?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And they got that.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly what you're talking about.
We got all the major mainstream networks and all that.
Yeah.
And, it was very important for them because I went for them when they finally launched Be Like Peel. They wanted to help other people because when their son came out, he was about 22 and he told them that he was gay, and they said, okay, give us time to think about it. So then they researched and they attended meetings and they wanted to bring all that to other people. So we had to do stories that would help other people who want to come out. In the South Asian community, as you know, people don't come out at all, and they found out that there were 5 other young people who were gay, and they were part of the same social circle.
Right.
And they went and addressed this problem with them, and they said, "No, we know, but we don't want to come out in the media." So, but we were very fortunate to have so many mainstream media networks come out and cover this event to raise awareness and create a buzz.
Yeah.
And this is what I like doing. This is like giving back to the community in our own way, because we want to raise awareness about this. And the guy, the Agarwal son, actually came and cried at the event. He said, how hard it was. It was a big strain that was lifted off him. So such stories inspire other people.
Absolutely.
So these are the kind of work that we do.
Yeah.
But we also, of course, we do like award ceremonies, and we do, I do community outreach. For instance, we did it for the one of the bigger hospitals who are doing fundraising gala, and we got them connected to South Asian community and South Asian media networks. And
and you do Desi Fest as well.
Desi Fest as well,
yeah.
And they have this 12-hour programming of all the South Asian artists that they want to promote who are not so well known, but through the media and through the showcasing, the presentation at Young and Danda Square every year, they are presented.
And so you've done some wonderful work for the community, and Renu is also going to be offering to other small businesses a consultation. So please look at our website for all those details. So thank you for watching. We would love to hear from you. If you have anything you want to discuss or a question that you want our perspective on, feel free to drop us a line. If you like what you see, please share on Twitter and Facebook, and join us next time when we get together to share ourselves with you so we can build a good, positive community together. Until next time, speak up and listen.